Balitang National. Good morning, Pilipinas, and welcome to another edition of Balitang National. For this video, allow me to use English and Tagalog as our medium of instruction. Eksklusibong pagsisimplify na naman ng set of rational expressions ang gagawin natin sa pagkakataong ito. We are going to divide rational expressions. Take note, the rational expressions somehow look like fractions. So before we divide this, we also need to understand or be reminded of how we divide fractions. We have our first rational expression that in terms of our division, tinatawag nating dividend, the x squared plus 9x plus 14 all over 5x plus 35. And yung pangalawang rational expression, we call it divisor, x squared minus 4 all over x squared minus x minus 6. Here we are going to first transform the operation into multiplication. Why? So that we have an easier attempt later on in giving the final or simplified form of this expression. And whenever we do that, huwag niyong kalimutan yung keep, change, flip method whenever we divide fractions as well. Whenever we say keep, change, flip method, we are going to keep the dividend, or in short, we are going to write the dividend as it is. In short, we will keep x squared plus 9x plus 14 as our numerator of the dividend. And we also have 5x plus 35 as the same denominator of our dividend. Now, we are going to change the second process of our keep, change, flip method. Instead of division, we change this to multiplication. So we have kept our first rational expression. We change the operation from division to multiplication, and now we are going to flip our divisor. Flip in terms of reciprocating it po. In short, yung x squared minus x minus 6 will now become our new numerator. And this is now possible because ginawa na nating multiplication yung ating operation. At saka yung x squared minus 4 natin na original numerator ay magiging denominator natin. So this is what happens now when we divide rational expressions as well. But we are going to still continue use the cancellation law to simplify such, because if we are going to multiply our numerators and denominators, it may take us too long to find a simplified form. And we can do that po. Huwag niyong kalimutan yung factoring concepts natin. So let's start with our first numerator, x squared plus 9x plus 14. It's called a quadratic trinomial because we have three terms. So we can use here the AC way method, or we can multiply a, which is 1, and 14 as our C coefficients of this quadratic trinomial, which gives us a result of 14. Now, let's look for factors of 14. You have 1, 14. You could also try negative 1 and negative 14. We also have 2 and 7 and negative 2 and negative 7. These four pairs of factors, when multiplied by their corresponding partner, will return to the same AC, which is 14. And now we are going to find kung saan dito sa apat na ito po na kung ating i-add yung mga coefficients natin or the factors of 14 will result to our middle coefficient of positive 9. The answer is this. We have 2 and 7 because 2 plus 7 is equal to 9 and 2 times 7 is positive 14. So that would mean our factors for our numerator here would be a pair of binomials using this concept. Square root of the first term, x here, and we simply add the coefficients. You have plus 2 and plus 7. These are now the factors of the numerator of our first rational expression. Then let's proceed po sa ating denominator. Our denominator can be factored using the greatest common factor or by common monomial factoring. Gagamitin natin yung 5. And then when we took out 5, yung 5x natin po, magiging x na lang. At saka yung 35 in the process of division, because that's what factoring is, we will get 7 po. And the operation is still plus. Now before we continue, makikita na po natin na we could cancel these binomials here. because they are found in both numerators and denominators. But let's do them later pagkatapos po na ma-factor natin lahat. Yung ating pangalawang rational expression after we use the keep change flip method is now in this form, and our numerator is also a quadratic trinomial. So we're going to use the AC way or AC method. A and C. So our A is 1 and our C is negative 6. So our AC is negative 6. The factors of negative 6 are 1, negative 6. We can also try negative 1 and 6. We also have 2 and negative 3 and negative 2 together with 3. These 4 pairs of factors will result to negative 6, but only one of them will result to our middle coefficient when added. Our middle coefficient po, when you look at our given, is minus x. So we are sure that our middle coefficient is negative 1. And ito po yung magbibigay ng negative 1 po natin. 2 plus negative 3 is negative 1. 2 times negative 3, negative 6. So our factors are this form. We still have 2 binomial expressions using the square root of the first term x squared, so x. And we also have x here po. Then we use the coefficients, plus 2, and then you have minus 3. Before we continue po, huwag niyo pong i-cancel yung x plus 2 at x plus 2 dito mamaya. Kasi nga po, they're all found on the numerator. So we can only use the cancellation law if the same term or expression ay makikita po sa numerator at sa denominator, the exact form. Now let's factor our last polynomial expression or the denominator of this rational expression, and it's a difference of 2 squares. We have minus separating both perfect square expressions rather. So we are sure as well to have 2 binomial expressions, but for difference of 2 squares, di na po natin gagamitin yung AC. Yung gagawin po natin, take the square root of the first term, x, and x dito. Take the square root of the second term, 2, and 2. And the 2 binomial expressions only differ on the sign separating those 2 terms. Plus, minus, or minus plus if you would like to interchange them, since they are both parts of binomial expressions under multiplication, as multiplication is commutative. Ngayon po, natapos na po natin yung mga factoring methods natin. Let's use the cancellation law. We mentioned earlier to cancel this and that. And now we can cancel this as well. X plus 2 and x plus 2 dito, because we have x plus 2 in both parts of our rational expression. By the way, if you don't like removing this, we can also use this x plus 2 here and here, because when we multiply expressions, we are combining the entire numerators against the entire denominator. So let's just have this. So our final form is x plus 2 times x minus 3 to be divided by the coefficient 5 times x minus 2. If you would like to multiply them, yung x plus 2 and x minus 3 natin are factors of this, so it will return to our trinomial here, x squared minus x minus 6. But our denominator will become 5 times x, that's 5x, and then minus 10. So this is now the simplified form of our original expression that are given with are under division, but we change it to multiplication using the keep change flip method. Lester Lou Sigumpan, nagbabalita for Balitang Rational. Huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe, i-like at i-share ang video ito. Maraming salamat!